I'm James Brierton. We are monitoring a couple of tornado warnings this morning. We're coming on the air here. You've been watching the Carolina Weather Net. We're going to get a couple more streams going and talk you over a little bit about what's going on here at this hour as we draw towards the 9 a.m. hour. On this Sunday morning, we have tornado warnings right now in South Carolina. One of them was moving on towards the Charlotte area. And another one right now down towards Winnsboro, north of Columbia for Fairfield County and Richland County. That goes until 9:15. We did have this one that was for portions of northeastern Union County in South Carolina. That's expired, but we are continuing with the tornado warning until 9:15 for western York and eastern Cherokee counties. This is right there on that border with North Carolina. So bear with us here just a moment. We're going to go ahead and get a couple more streams going, and we'll also be bringing in Jared Smith as we begin our coverage here just shy of the 9 a.m. hour. Jared, if you're ready to go, I'll hand things over to you, and I'll spin up a couple more simulcasts. I think you too might still be.
Should it help? You always have problems with the microphone.
Yeah, there you go.
Scott is always muted, and I'm always on the wrong mic. So there you go. But all right. So yeah, just getting a couple things squared away here, and we'll be off and running. But yeah, it's a busy morning. Look at the squall line. I mean, this thing is really racing in. We've had several reports of. We've had several tornado warnings right now, and looks like some really strong winds are starting to move into the Charlotte metros, moving through the Columbia metro. There's a tornado warning out north of of downtown Columbia. This is eventually going to get very, very much into the Charleston metro here before too long. So let's. So here's a wide view, and there's your tornado watch. You can see the. We'll kind of stop this and kind of stop the animation there. There's your tornado watch. Tornado watch is out until 1 p.m. and it's been canceled as you go from west to east. As this line gets through, that'll end your severe weather threat for the day. The nice thing is that this has been moving a little bit faster than I think a lot of us anticipated, which is great. I'll take getting this over with today and not being here until 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the evening. Any day, and twice on Sunday, and well, guess what today is. So there you go. But right now we do have a couple things that we need to keep an eye on here, and so yeah, let's go ahead and get into the let's go to the radar here and give that a second to populate in. And so a couple things that we're watching too. We have 2 tornado warnings on the line here right now, and we have some considerable damage possible, 60, 70 miles an hour with tornadoes possible on the leading edge of the line, but a couple spots have really popped out at us for the potential for a tornado. And one of those areas is in Winnsboro, South Carolina, and here we have a tornado warning. That's going to go until about 9:15. You see this kink of the line here. You see this little inflow notch right here. And what this will do is and so what this is basically showing us is that there could be a quick spin up in this. And so yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go over to the velocity data here. And again, we're going to give this a second to populate in. It's taking a little while, but yeah, there's your circulation right there. You can definitely see the where the greens and the reds come together. You have a good look at that. What that looks like. It's about to cross Highway 321 here, getting very close to Winnsboro and Ridgeway, and it wouldn't shock me if they decided to extend this warning a little bit further to the northeast. So that'll be something that we'll need folks to be keeping an eye on immediately downstream. So Great Falls, Kershaw, maybe not right away, but certainly something that we would want folks to be aware of as we get in there. We also have some very, very strong just straight line winds in general, looking from the GSP radar that's getting into Rock Hill right now. So Rock Hill, Charlotte Metro, this is coming. I mean, this is on its way sooner rather than later. And let me make a couple adjustments here. I need to make myself smaller. Again, I need to get out of the way a little bit. So apologies for that. But you can see the that's a very good looking velocity signature here. If we do a little bit of querying on it, you can see, the radar is, now granted, this is not at the ground, but I mean, we have, 80-mile-an-hour winds a couple thousand feet up. And so that's that's no joke. That's not something that we mess with. So we'll definitely need to be keeping an eye on that. And again, there is a tornado warning out for Clover here. And we've got a...
Yeah, this is Rock Hill, Jared, near Fort Mill. This is the ETV weather stand camera. We're looking south. Yep. So we'll start to see the winds and the rains pick up here as we move forward.
Yep, absolutely. And again, not in Rock Hill proper. I think Rock Hill, what you're going to be dealing with is going to be more in the way of straight line winds. But to your northwest, we do have the potential for a couple, for a spin up tornado here. North of Hickory Grove, getting into Clover, just south of Grover. This is now to the east of Gaffney. So Gaffney probably getting some strong winds, but the worst is over there. Charlotte, this is going to be knocking on your doorstep before too long. And again, if we put the ETA on this, based off of the warning, we put the ETA on that. I mean, we're looking at, kind of a arrival time a little after 9 a.m. in Charlotte, about 9:10, 9:11, somewhere in there in Charlotte. And then this gets into the eastern parts of the Charlotte metro by about 9:30. So these are moving quickly. Again, this is not a slow moving system by any stretch of the imagination. It's moving northeast at 56 miles an hour. And that's 55 to 60 miles an hour. And that's causing the warnings to get extended very well downstream too. So let me do a couple things here. Just going to make a couple adjustments on this, so we can kind of want to make sure that y'all can get a good look at the view here. So we're gonna keep the move the... No, I guess I can't do that. Okay. I'm gonna take that full for a minute. We'll be kind of bouncing back and forth with the webcams here before too long. But yeah, you can see there's that there's the circulation getting very close to Winnsboro now, and these are the two tornado warnings on the board here. So kind of a broad rotation, but if there's something in there, it's going to be between Winnsboro and Ridgeway. And again, this is going to be, if this holds up, and we'll see what happens here in a minute. Have to expect that we're going to see this. If this keeps up, we'll get extended down the line. Let me. And yeah, so nothing new yet, but yeah, watching Columbia real closely here for what they're going to do there. So, looking at, look again. Let's take a look at the overall view here, and let's get this set into motion here. That squall line is moving very quickly. Squall line is getting through the upstate right now. It's pretty much cleared the upstate of South Carolina, getting into the Piedmont of North Carolina and the Midlands of South Carolina. Again, this is getting through very quickly. I mean, this is almost faster than even some of the earlier thoughts that I would have had here, which is not the worst thing in the world. It would definitely, I could definitely think of worse things, but than to get this over and done with relatively quickly. But this is certainly something that we're going to need to keep a close eye on over time, for the potential for a lot of damaging straight line winds. And again, we have a tornado watch in effect. Let's go to the watches here. And take a look at the yeah, let's take the animation off. There's your tornado watch right here. Here it goes into 1 o'clock, and again, the concern can be for winds up to 70 miles an hour possible with this, and that is certainly something that we'll need to keep a close eye on. Most places 50 to 60 miles an hour. Again, we've got this line coming through some areas where trees have been weakened by Helene, so we could see some tree damage with even lower with even lower winds. So something that we're going to want to watch really closely here. So let's get back to the single site radar, and let's switch to Columbia. I'm going to switch it to the Columbia radar here. So give me just a second to get that loaded in, and we'll took the tornado watch off, and this will give us a little bit closer look. Again, kind of getting into radar no man's land when we get up towards Rock Hill right now. So we'll kind of be bouncing back and forth here. We have another radar view set up that will help us take a look at that. So we'll kind of be bouncing between both here, but get a good look at the Winnsboro storm here. And again, this is about to break containment of the tornado warning area. Now, I think it's worth noting that when we look at the debris, the debris scans, the debris detection with the correlation coefficient looks pretty uniform here. So how do you know it's uniform? Well, when you get into the reds, that's pretty much, when you have a lot of red there, that's actually a good thing, because it means everything is pretty uniformly meteorological. Everything is generally, it's rain. It's there could be there's a small chance that there could be some hail mixed in, although very unlikely. The point is that there's no debris being detected right now. We would look for that debris kind of, again, between Winnsboro and Ridgeway, and we just don't see it here. So that's a very good sign. I'll gladly take that. But yeah, there's definitely something spinning in there, though. We go to velocity here, again, looking from the Columbia radar. We go to velocity and give us a second to load in. There's definitely, some evidence that there is some very strong winds in there. That could be a little bit of a circulation. Let's go to the shear product and just see what that can show us here. And yeah, you have a pretty well sheared line. Again, the wind shear is pretty strong along the edge of the line, and that's where our concern comes from for spin up tornadoes. So again, this is about to break containment from Winnsboro. Waiting to see what Columbia decides to do downstream here. So we'll hopefully have an answer on that shortly. And we'll go from there. James?
Yeah, Jared, you mentioned how quickly this line is moving, and that's certainly the case. If you're waking up this morning and you're saying to yourself, I really thought this was coming later, you're not wrong. And there's still a possibility that we might have to watch for the chance of a second line, a more broken line with more discrete spinning cells as we go on through the afternoon hours. But I couldn't believe, Jared, when I woke up this morning to find that it was 60 degrees outside my home here in Charlotte. The moisture and the energy is moving on.
Yeah, and I I woke up and it was like, oh, good morning, Tornado Watch 724. It's like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. It was one of those kinds of things, and so I was like, all right, here we go, let's ride. And that is what we're doing here. So once again,
I can tell you where I am in Matthews, southeast of Charlotte. The winds are already starting to pick up. We just got placed under a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to pull up our studio camera that's on the exterior of our building in just a moment.
No, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll be very interested to see what that looks like for sure, because it's coming. It's coming. And in fact, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. So this includes Charlotte. This includes, this includes all of Charlotte, all of the Charlotte locations, pretty much all of Charlotte, including uptown and south, northeast, southwest, and east. I don't know how much more Charlotte you can get.
All the Charlottes
all the time. You're now under severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on this. So we'll have to.
Well, I'll tell you, we got to be ready to practice what we preach, right? So my family right now still asleep, but if we were to suddenly get a tornado warning, that I would be hustling upstairs, waking them up and moving to our safe place. We don't have a basement, Jared, so we would be under the stairs. That is kind of the best place we have. Here's a live look right now outside. I think I'm screen sharing.
Oh yeah, no, I have it full screen. Hang on a second. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is right outside where I am. It's kind of unimpressive, but for a little BTS, I'm standing in our garage right now. here I am in a small box,
Mhm.
and you know, all that's out between me and the outside world right now is a garage door, right? So I can hear the rain battering, I can hear the winds blowing. Certainly, I would be moving if that became the case. Also, happy 9:06 a.m. Weather Daddy. I think that's our first reference of Weather Daddy this
Oh
morning.
yes, yeah, yeah. I'm wearing the shirt, although it's coming through the thing. I actually can't see this. I actually can't see it. I'm actually in on the net stream here, so we'll have to might
Yeah,
have to fire up
I got you.
restream chat here and go from there. But yeah, it's early, and here we go. So yeah, I've got the GSP radar up here. I got a different view of it. And actually, let me switch it to TCLT because hey, you know we're in range of the terminal here.
Yeah, certainly.
And I think the other thing to note, one thing I wanted to note real quickly is that the tornado watch, the tornado warning rather, that was in effect for areas around Ridgeway in north of Columbia, that has been allowed to expire. So that's gone. That's out of here. Um, Now the main concern, and really I can imagine that this is going to be gone here before too long too, because it's very not really seeing that sharp rotation. Although again you can see that very sharp wind shear line along the leading edge, and again at that apex it looks like there's a little bow segment here. So kind of a broken part of the line. That's where we look for some of these, and certainly no doubt that is that is. Something that they're going to be watching very closely at GSP for sure. But anyway, let's set this into motion here, and you can see there's your line right now. And again, 60s. I mean, the normal high in Charleston, the normal high in Charleston for December 29th is 61 degrees. And I can imagine that it is lower as you get further north. I haven't done the research on Climo and Charlotte today, but I probably can guarantee you that it's going to be even lower and further north. So certainly a very, very balmy day. That is for sure. So, so yeah, so we're just so again we're just keeping an eye on that, and just checking all the chats and everything like that. But yeah, James, it's going to get gnarly for you here fairly shortly. It looks like.
I know I'm going to be tempted, I think, just to like open the garage door and like take us outside, but that doesn't sound like the safest thing to do. You know, I come to the garage when my family is sleeping, which I've already alluded to, but will be prepared to very quickly move myself back inside because this is not the most structurally sound portion of my home. It's just the most convenient for early morning streaming. But it is not the best place to be as severe weather might come ripping on through. So we'll keep a close eye on that. You know, I can also let people know as we're getting everyone up to speed here. This is not unusual, the amount of or the severity of the severe weather we have today. It always feels unusual, and certainly it's not what you might expect out of the tail end of December or even the beginning of January. But Jared, I'm sure you remember we had severe weather last year, and when we look at our Storm Prediction Center outlook for today, you can see just how much of the area is under that slight risk, that yellow, that tier 2 out of 5. And that is predominantly driven by a 15% chance of seeing severe damaging winds from thunderstorms in that yellow area, which for all intents and purposes is most of North Carolina and South Carolina. We do have a 5% chance of seeing a tornado inside of that area. Matter of fact, we can actually show that drawn out for you. And since you all went to bed last night, that area's gotten a little bit bigger. So when you look at the screen now, that tan area, that's a 5% chance of seeing a tornado. And that essentially goes from Greenville, Spartanburg to the west, Greensboro to the north, Raleigh to the east, and as far south as where Jared is in Charleston and down to Savannah as we look at our Carolina area and all that area in between, of course, up and down the I-77 corridor. So 5% chance of seeing a tornado on December 29th, that certainly raises my antennas.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think the other thing that we should also talk about is that it is, to paraphrase Tom Jones, it's not unusual to have a severe weather threat in winter. This is a secondary severe weather season in many ways. Um, we just get that clash a little later. It's one of those things where the jet is further south, just by virtue of it being winter. We're still getting.
Jared, I want to take us back over to Rock Hill, South Carolina, York County, just south of Charlotte area. This is that ETV camera from WeatherStand we showed you a few minutes ago, where things were just kind of mostly calm. It is pouring there now, absolutely pouring. You can see the visibility is down to maybe 1/10 of a mile. We can no longer see that tree line in the background. And I think if you look closely enough, you can actually see the wind being carried by the rain, kind of like in sheets or in waves, making its way across the monitor here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the terminal Doppler right now, and we have that up here, and some reasonably strong winds being shown up on the terminal Doppler, about 44, 45. And again, the nice thing about terminal Doppler is that we can look a little bit lower. That's what it's designed for, ultimately, is to find low-level wind shear at the airport. At the Charlotte airport, and we get the benefit of having a pretty fast, quickly updating radar here at our disposal. And so those very strong winds are coming through now. You can see there's your reflectivity. The line is basically crossing over Rock Hill right now, getting into Fort Mill. And again, Charlotte, you're now under severe thunderstorm warning, and that warning will go until 10:15 there. So again, the good news is, again, once you're beyond this, you're beyond it. But we'll go from there. Still watching this tornado warning here until 9:15. I think they're just going to let that go around Clover. Just want to make sure that we don't have anything too suspicious there. It doesn't look like it, but we're going to have some very strong winds. Kind of get maybe a 1-2 punch over in Gastonia. We have a line of storms that's, the first line, kind of the top of the first line getting in there, kind of this broken signature here, and then another line, Cherryville, Kings Mountain, those areas that's going to slide through here. That's going to slide through in pretty reasonably short order. Again, these things are moving 55, 60 miles an hour. So, they're not wasting any time. Let's put it that way. So let's see.
I think it'll be interesting to see if they take that warning into, as you mentioned, if they take it into Gastonia. Too early to tell. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning already in place there. And I bring that up because as we say all the time, wind is wind, right, Jared? So, if they don't take that tornado warning into Gastonia, we still have the threat for damaging winds. And that's what the yellow polygons represent as severe thunderstorm warnings. I know they feel like a dime a dozen when you live in the South and they happen all summer long, but damaging winds do occur inside those yellow polygons.
Yep, and absolutely right. And that's the thing that we're most concerned about is, will there be, enough to take down trees, power lines? Well, certainly the preponderance of the evidence, when you look at it from the next rad in particular, says yes. I think that's it's a very fair assumption. I'll switch it back to GSP real quick, and they'll take a second to load. But when we look from GSP, I'm sampling 80-mile-an-hour winds about 3,000 feet up. That's going to mix down. With a situation like that, this is gonna mix down and cause some issues. So again, we want, we really want folks to, take these seriously. And again, the nice thing is that, it's 9:15. We're getting a lot of this out of the way. There is some intrigue with perhaps this is getting through too fast, and that a second broken line behind it could get going. But I think also the best forcing and everything will be departing by then. So fingers crossed that we don't have a double barrel thing going on today. But
yeah, without getting too far away from the live warnings, because I know that is the thing for imminent safety right now, just so people can plan their day and kind of get to know what they can expect as we go on throughout the day. We do have the benefit that last hour we got the long 12Z HRRR And you can see, that line coming through very quickly right now, real time about here. But as we go through the next couple hours, you'll see this line will move off to the east, right? So it'll come into Raleigh and Myrtle Beach. And we think that line will weaken a little bit as it gets into eastern North Carolina. But as Jared was just mentioning, as we go through the later afternoon hours, take a look right here, almost a line. You can see it coming out of Pittsburgh, right? And it's disconnected as opposed to the first line. You can see kind of those discrete little areas of rain, some of them heavy, making their way all the way down towards Columbia. And as Jared and I have been alluding to, it looks less broken, it looks less severe, but what that actually allows potential tornadoes to do is have all of the room they need to spin. Right now, this line is impressive. It has its own pros and cons, but those discrete cells will have all of the room in the world, like a figure skater on ice, to spin around later on. Still some ifs that have to play out before we get through what is currently that tornado watch you have outlined on your screen. So Jared, as people are waking up 9:15 on the Sunday morning, who needs to be weather aware?
Yeah, I think pretty much at this point, I think the nice part is that we are, if you are kind of let's see, what's a good dividing line here? Oh, 77, duh. So if you're along 77,
the spine of the Carolinas.
If you're along 77 and points east, keep an eye out. You've got, there's stuff that, we're going to be dealing with some stuff. Now, if you are west of 77, if you're in Greenville, if you're in, Aiken, if you're in Spartanburg, you've got some rain to contend with, but you've actually seen the worst of it, and probably the worst of it all day. We'll see what happens with that second round. But again, I think that's going to be a situation where some of the better forcing and instability is
So
going to be
we have an
displaced.
update from GSP. I'm stepping on you intentionally. We're going to be extending that tornado warning from York County into portions of Gaston and Mecklenburg. So this is going to come into Gastonia and the Charlotte metro area. I presume that also means the airport, by the way that's worded, but we'll find out. They're drawing up the polygon right now, Jared.
Okay, so there it is. So we'll be waiting for that polygon to pop up on the screen here at a moment's notice here. Usually by the time they're talking about it in chat, it means they've got it pretty much drawn and ready to go. They just got to push play, and they'll be on it. So yeah, so again, we have the tornado possible tag on the severe thunderstorm warnings, but yeah, there it is right here. So let me zoom in on that a little bit.
Yeah, push this on in there, and I'd be happy to call out some landmarks.
Yeah.
So this is going to include north and western portions of Mecklenburg County. So uptown, you're excluded from the tornado warning, but don't go far from your safe place. We need you to take immediate shelter right now if you're in Belmont, which is right there on the Catawba River between Gaston and Mecklenburg counties. If you're at the airport, listen for official instructions on where their safe areas are. They certainly have them. Same thing for downtown Gastonia. We'll also have Stanley. And Jared, I think that clips a portion of Lincoln County as I look up towards Westport. That's going to be southeastern Lincoln County. And this also includes portions of Davidson and Huntersville in northern Mecklenburg County. So those communities along the south side of Lake Norman. But we do have a very populated area here as you look down that I-85 corridor from Gaston County, 321, back off to the east into Charlotte. Again, that northeastern side of Charlotte is going to be places like Mountain Island Lake. It's going to be places like the Whitewater Center. And so a lot of weather radios hopefully going off right now in those areas, Mecklenburg, Lincoln, and Gaston, to head to your safe place.
Absolutely. And again, I think, when we look at this, we have a good look at, what's going on here. I think it's this broken signature right here. This is what they're really concerned about. Let's go to velocity view here. Yeah, it's not the tightest thing right now, but you have the wind energy here. Something could spin up at any time. They may be most concerned about this little spot right here. There's a little bit of shear here. Something localized there. So again, I think, James is dead on here. I mean, if we called you out, right? If we called out your location and we called out if you're anywhere near some of these landmarks or anything like that, I think best thing you can do is just get to that safe place. Path of least regret here. Good news is, again, it's moving quickly. It'll be over before you know it, which is great. So again, here's some ETAs here. Again, this is rocking and rolling. So 919. I mean, basically right now at South Gastonia, 925 at Cramerton, 926 at Lowell, 926 at Ranlow, excuse me. 928 at Belmont, 931 at Mount Holly, 944 at Huntersville, Cornelius at 948, Davidson at 948, Mooresville at 954, Enochville at 958, Kannapolis at 959. So again, over the next hour, this is where we expect this to go. And, you know, and again, we'll see ultimately how this shakes out. I think we got the, we have Rock Hill.
Yeah, I was trying to actually get us over to the WeatherStam camera in Charlotte, and I'm not sure why it didn't change. But I'm working on that right now.
The computers need coffee too. So, you know, it's
I think so.
How these things tend to go.
All right, I'll turn that off for now so we can keep an eye on your radar, because I think your radar is going to be. And now you've just drawn on some times here.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is this is coming from the. This is coming from the. This is out of the next. This is out of the polygon too. So this is using the time motion location stuff right out of the polygon, which is helpful. And so yeah, let's just.
There we go. So this is Charlotte now, and this is from the perspective of WCCB television, WeatherStem. This is from near Bojangles. We're looking along Independence, and we're looking back north. You can just barely make out the skyline of Uptown, which again isn't in that tornado warning, but we'll just use this to keep an eye on some regional weather conditions, Jared, as we wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll be a good thing to keep an eye on, because again, even if you're not in the tornado warning, you got some strong winds headed your way. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. If we put a track on, more of the line, I mean, Charlotte, is going to be on top of you really in just a few minutes. 925 or so in Charlotte proper, 928 in Matthews, 932 in Huntersville. So again, you can see there's your arrival times there. And so again, we're going to dial up some cameras, have those on standby so we can watch this.
So this camera here, and I'm sorry, I wish there was a way to set these up ahead of time. This is another WeatherStam camera. Now we are in Uptown. We are actually on the scoreboard of Bank of America Stadium. If you've been to a Panthers game, I never thought, man, I wonder what the view looks like from up there. This is what the view looks like, and we're looking back towards the north and the west. We're looking to where the practice bubble normally is, down there on that field, if you're familiar. We are looking towards where the cell will be. So the cell will pass this view from left to right, from west to east, as we go through the next half an hour.
Yeah, and that's just looking at a couple things here, having some technical difficulties because it wouldn't be a severe weather coverage.
The computers need coffee too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a good look. That's a good view there, and again that scoreboard is not exactly small either. So yeah, I mean again we're getting this. This line is really, if we're gonna, let's just do a quick zoom on the 277 loop, and yeah, here it is. I mean it's about ready to hit the 277 loop. So that's already treacherous. That's already a nasty road. And I don't even live there. I know it's a nasty road. So hopefully on a Sunday morning, it'll be a little bit quieter, which is, again, as far as like best case scenarios for something like this to come through from a traffic perspective, this certainly could be worse. And
I know it's interesting, right? We're kind of sandwiched between these two holidays. So like how many people maybe had last week off versus this week, or vice versa. So they may be moving in between. But yeah, I think that scoreboard camera, as you can see that squall line right now, it's moved past the airport, at least that first part, and it's going to be coming right into this camera here in the next few minutes. So give folks a call. If you know anybody in the greater Charlotte area, Gastonia, Lincoln, Lake Norman, give them a call. Let them know that they're showing up and monitoring this, because it's going to be pounding through Mecklenburg County here and out my door. Anyway.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too that we want to make sure that folks are aware of is that, even if you're not in a tornado warning right now, and a lot of you are in a severe thunderstorm warning, we do have that tornado possible tag on there. tornadoes along the edge of squall lines can spin up and spin down very quickly, sometimes in the course of one radar scan. We've sped up the radar scans over the years to improve that. That's helpful. But you still cannot rule it out. So I just want to make sure that folks are aware of that, of the situation that we find ourselves in this morning here, and that these things can spin up on a dime. And, we've seen it before. We hope we don't see it again, but, we got to be ready for that possibility.
And we should mention how long this event's been going on, right? So there's this YouTube comments coming in right now of mentions of what has already played out to our west in upstate South Carolina, portions of western North Carolina this morning. This was a line that marched out of Georgia during the overnight hours, but really it's a storm system that has already wreaked havoc on Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama, and now it's here in the Carolinas.
Yep. And this I was watching this last night as it went through, Mississippi and Alabama, and unfortunately, given the ceiling of the event, it was a bad event for some, but it could have been much worse, which is saying something, that's for sure. Camden, Elgin, this is past you, but Camden, I'm kind of interested in this. Even we're looking from GSP, so we're looking pretty high up, but there does seem to be some evidence of maybe a kink or two trying to develop along the line approaching Camden and Kershaw. So nothing from Columbia as far as any additional tornado warnings here, but again, something we want you all to be aware of is that you guys are also, it's a pretty large warning, actually, pretty large storm-based warning, and so so we've got this we've got this out for multiple locations. Looks like there's one trying to there might be something trying to get going in Camden. There might be something trying to get going a little bit further north towards Kershaw. So again, kinks in the line. This is the thing that could happen, and and this is the main, this is the thing that we're concerned about very much here. So let me
And how intense is this rain when it gets to you? Well, we'll take you back out here to Charlotte real fast. This is that same view that just minutes ago I was pointing at a field and telling you about where the practice bubble normally goes for the Panthers. It's complete whiteout conditions right now in uptown Charlotte as this line comes on through. We're again looking weather stem's camera here at Bank of America Stadium. We're looking back off to the north and the west towards this tornado warned cell. And Jared, I can't see anything.
Yeah, no, and given the what we're seeing on radar here, I'd be shocked if you could. That's a lot of rain and a very sharp reflectivity gradient, so that's a lot of wind-driven rain there too. Literally coming right through uptown as we speak. So again, the most imminent risk of a tornado remains to your north. Let's get a look at this on the storm relative there. You can see a couple broad areas of rotation. I'm going to take us to the terminal Doppler too, because I think that's going to give us really the best and most real-time look. Because at this point, I think that we're at 1 minute updates with the terminal Doppler, as I recall. So let me just load some frames here real quick. So we should be, so we're getting this pretty much very, very, very quickly now, and you can see the wind shear, the green and the red coming together, kind of in a straight line almost, and that's where you can see that leading edge of that heavy rain and those strong winds starting to pull through there. So we'll watch this closely. And again, looks like GSP just reboxed the tornado warning to so it looks like the center of Gastonia is now out of it, but still Lowell, Belmont, Dallas, Stanley, Mount Holly, Huntersville, Lowesville Triangle, Westport, Cornelius, you're still in this. But I think as you get towards South Gastonia, Crowders, those areas, I think you are in good shape now. As far as the tornado threat goes, you still have some wind, you still have some rain that you're dealing with. But I think that the main tornado risk there is ending based off of the recent reboxing here of the warning.
I mean, it really does speak to how fast this is moving. And I know we're focusing a lot right now on the greater Charlotte area, and we've got a big line moving through the Carolinas, but this is the only tornado warning we have on the board right now. And yes, as we've been mentioning, severe thunderstorm warnings, wind is wind. And so we'll have to watch for any storm reports that start coming in with any of those. But we're watching this one tornado warning very closely right now because it is the name of the game right now at this hour. We've had numerous tornado warnings throughout the morning. And so this is now just a string of kind of the latest as we continue to keep an eye on things. And Jared, I will tell you, just kind of looking around at things, we were trying to, anticipate how busy the roads might be. This tornado warn cell is moving up towards Lake Norman, up towards Davidson. There's a resort cam there. Not only can you see the lake, but you can actually see Interstate 77. And it's got a healthy amount of traffic on it this morning. So again, if you know anybody who may be traveling, give them a call and let them know that this may be coming their way as we continue on with tracking this tornado warned.
Yep, absolutely. And again, the one downside of the terminal Doppler is that it attenuates pretty badly in heavy rain. And right now we've got a ton of heavy rain right over it. So we're not getting the, so this looks weaker, but in reality, it's not. We'll go back to GSP here. Let me get back to GSP real quick. And no, we have a new tornado warning. This is up further north. Looks like Blacksburg.
Yeah, just south of the Roanoke area. They're right on the state line.
Yeah, so Mount Airy, North Wilkesboro, Yadkinville, Dobson. Again, this is a real. You want to talk about a radar no man's land? I mean, that's pretty much.
The terrain is very punishing there for radar.
Absolutely. So let's see what Blacksburg has to say on the subject. This tornado warning goes until 10:30. Okay. No, I clicked on a severe thunderstorm warning. That's not what I wanted to click on. I want to click on the tornado warning. Oh, wait, no, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. It's just for some reason it's outlined in red in this software. Okay, that's really strange.
Well, that's very confusing.
Yeah, I need to fix that.
All right. Well, while you work on that, I will point out I changed our camera again now. So this is the perspective right now in the greater Charlotte area where winds are gusting up to 59 miles an hour at the Charlotte airport. This is a camera right above my head here, Jared. So I'm in really close to Matthews, which is a suburb of Charlotte. And see if I can make this full screen for you. And so what's happening right now is that squall line has arrived here in South Charlotte, and you can just see the trees. This is literally above my head. So if there were to be a problem, there would be a problem for me as well. I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear that at all?
No.
All right, I'm going to walk over with my microphone just to give you a sound of the rain here. I don't know if it's picking it up at all, but it's very heavy rain right now. And, it is fast moving, right? So as soon as it arrives, it'll probably be moving out just as quickly. The winds you can see on the screen are blowing around. I've got a tempest up there on the roof, so I can actually get you some measurements from right here in South Charlotte as we're watching this line come on through. So the winds right now, where I'm at, if this is to be believed, are gusting to about 15 has been my highest gust so far. We'll see if that gets higher because certainly, Jared, as we just heard from GSP, the Charlotte airport is seeing gusts at 59 miles an hour. Mind you, the threshold for severe thunderstorm damaging winds is 60. So we're right there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 58 too is technically the warning threshold. So for all intents and purposes, that warning is verified on winds alone. And we're going to have some of those winds up to 70 miles an hour coming into North Wilkesboro, Sparta, Dobson, Mount Airy, Yadkinville. So again, correcting, this is not a tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag on it.
Okay.
So this is severe thunderstorm warning with a considerable tag on it. Updated the graphic to make that a little bit more accurate here. So again, that's what we've got coming in further north. So what we got coming in, this is what Blacksburg has issued here. So again, apologies for that.
I guess we should real quickly describe what a considerable tag is. And they're essentially severity tags of a severe thunderstorm warning, right? So baseline, it was 58 miles an hour, like we were just talking about for winds. And then considerable brings that up to almost 70 miles an hour, if I recall correctly. There would be a tier above it for destructive and 80. So this is kind of like more than your usual severe thunderstorm warning. So again, this area that Jared's describing, I would essentially treat it almost like a tornado. It's not rotating like one, but its impacts in terms of destruction and damage could be very similar.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, we'll put it that way, right? I mean, it's not a good situation for these areas, and again, this spot hit pretty hard by Helene, and you know, we'll be dealing, you know, we're dealing with the aftermath of that. We continue to deal with the aftermath of that. And part of that aftermath is that, you know, the trees that are still up could be weaker. So we could see, you know, a fair bit of tree damage, you know, up in these areas. So, you know, we want folks to be taking that very seriously.
The one thing on Helene I will bring up, whether it was psychological or ill-intentioned, there was a nasty rumor going around about the rainfall totals that this system today could produce. We're talking about 2 to 3 inches, maybe localized 4 inches of rain. Nowhere near double digits, nowhere near higher than that. I know there's, for good reason, sensitivity in Western North Carolina when it comes to how much rain we're going to see from events because of what we saw with Helene. This is not that. And the Weather Service has asked partners to help dispel any misinformation that might be circulated. Now, I don't want to delineate what you're saying, Jared. You're correct in terms of the trees could be weaker. We have loose landscaping, right? So like those are real concerns. But your mention of Helene in my brain reminded me that in terms of total rainfall, in terms of the flooding potential, this is not that.
No,
we do have very legitimate wind and tornadic concerns in certain localized areas, as we're telling you about. But I just wanted to throw out that caveat that if you saw rainfall totals that were anywhere near or rivaling Helene, this is
no, it's not at all. In fact, we can use data to show that real quick, James. You know, we'll switch back over here real quick, and yeah, we have some decent totals showing up, but you know, 1.9 inches, you know, 1.9 inches, not even, you know, 1.7. This is 0.5. This is not this is not Helene 2.0. Let's just be very, very clear here. This is the last 24 hours of radar estimated precipitation. You're fine, folks. You're fine.
Yeah. For good reason. I know that storm was 3 or 4 months ago, but it still very much impacts us and is being felt in a lot of places. And so if we can help provide any calm, that's what we're doing. So we have one tornado warning on the board right now there, Jared, in the Charlotte area on the north side of town. And you're looking actually right now at the line because it's been a moment since we've talked about the people in South Carolina. Don't want to forget about that.
Yeah, no, and again, I'm trying to. In fact, let me just take let me just take the wider view here. I think that's probably the best idea here. Do a little reset. We're getting a little past 9:30, so yeah, you can see there's that squall line. That squall line has been hauling butt much of the day. Now, south of the Midlands, getting into the Low Country, the line is subsevere, which is great news for folks in this part of the world. We're not seeing the stronger winds. The winds are generally 45, maybe 50 miles an hour, but not getting into that severe threshold, which is good. Now, we still need to keep an eye on it. We still have the tornado watch in effect. You can see the tornado watch, you know, but you can also see in the animation, you can see the tornado watch being trimmed over time. And so as these storms lift to the east, that tornado watch will end. So we may be done with this tornado watch across much of the eastern Carolina, you know, much of southern South Carolina here. We may be done with it before 10 o'clock. This thing is really moving along. So yeah, I mean, this is really moving along. And again, the main concern right now continues to be in the Charlotte metro, where the tornado warning continues until 10 a.m. We'll switch back to that view here. And so if there is anything in here, and again, it's going to be around, looks like it's going to be around Huntersville. I think we've just had a trim to the severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like Metro Charlotte is now out of the severe thunderstorm warning.
And the beauty is we've got a camera up there towards Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius on the south side of the lake. So we've got some eyes on the super helpful.
Absolutely. And so we'll keep an eye on that. But again, if the main concern here is the broken part of the line segment around Huntersville, I think is the main issue. This is what GSP is really concerned about here. When you get a break in the line segment like that, you have the strong winds from the south, a little less strong than the north. There's your shear, right? That's your change. That's a change of wind direction there, or at least a change in wind speed, and you can get some spin ups on the apex of that line. And so that's what the main concern is right now, and that's why we have that's a big reason why we have the tornado warning where we have the tornado warning at this point. The good news is that this is the only one. This is the only one right now. Let's hope this continues. I'd be really happy to see this be the last one we deal with all day. I think that's probably wishful thinking, but it'd be nice. That's for sure.
Yeah. We can see now on the resort cam here on the south side of the lake near Cornelius, the rain is approaching. The visibility is dropping down very quickly. We were pointing out earlier in the stream how you could see I-77 crossing the lake. And you can kind of still make it out there in the center of your screen. I think in the next minute or two, that's going to disappear on us as we can already start to see those whiteout conditions. It's going to be tough traveling. I think, unfortunately, we're going to see probably a lot of wrecks out there. I'm seeing YouTube comments right now of people saying, man, I wish we were talking about snow. Me too. Snow was fun. This is not.
Yeah, snow's fun. This isn't. It's just the way it is. That's how this goes. So, but yeah, I mean, taking a look at that, I'm watching that resort cam on another screen right now, and we could see a lot further a few minutes ago. So you definitely are getting that sense of that impending, very heavy rain that's moving in. But again, be very short-lived. Flooding concerns, maybe some quick urban flooding possible, but again, not really thinking that you have This is not anywhere remotely close to anything that folks have experienced lately.
How long ago was it that I told you it was pouring here towards Matthews? It has already stopped.
Yeah. You might have some light rain behind it, but other than that, I mean, it's not a big deal. We have a new warning out to extend. They're extending the severe thunderstorm warning out, and this is now Raleigh is taking over. We're now kind of getting into Raleigh's neck of the woods here. Includes Albemarle, Norwood, Ansonville, Wadesboro. Generally along the Highway 52 corridor here. So that warning is now being extended. Good lead time. Again, this is moving very quickly, so we need warnings kind of ahead of the line where we can get them as far as, and so there you go. Not too bad. It's that's to be expected. So get ready in these spots. It's going to get windy. You could lose power. Again, I think the thing that we have to be monitoring for once again is the potential for a quick spin up tornado on the edge of the line. We still have the tornado warning that continues for parts of Cabarrus, Lincoln, and Mecklenburg, but Gaston County is out. The tornado warning has ended for Gaston County. We've got this moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. This is 5 miles west of Huntersville near Ramsey Creek Park, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. Again, still radar indicated, looking at debris, no indications of that. But, we're also looking fairly high up too. So it would take something fairly strong at that point to loft something that high. But again, this is going to get towards Lake Norman here in the next few minutes. So if you are, around Lake Norman, if you're in those areas, that's it's time to be in shelter just for safety's sake, more than anything else. So let's see. Yeah, so we have the webcam up here. We have the resort cam up there. We have the, we have eyes on it. That's the beautiful part about it. We have eyes on it. There's I-77 right here. Looks like, we're going to be getting into the rain here fairly shortly. Further east, we have the the severe risk has been extended. And what I'll do here is let's take it, let's get back to the wide view for a minute. You can see there's your line. There's your line. There's your tornado watch. And again, to the south, mostly special weather statements for 45, 55 mile an hour winds, but sub-severe. Get to about get to roughly, let's see here. There's no real good crossroad there, but I guess once you get north of once you get from about Ellery and Manning northward, that's where the better forcing seems to lie for the risk for more severe weather. And we have a new severe thunderstorm watch.
Yeah. Well, I think we also have a new tornado warning for portions of Mecklenburg County. It's coming across as a new
There
event.
It is. Yep, there it is right here. Yep, let me... Yep.
Okay, so they've not... It's the same area. They've just kind of reboxed it in a way that allowed them to expand it as opposed to just going downstream. I guess is kind of what's happening here. So this will go as far over as Concord, it looks like, Jared.
Yeah, so again, this is going to include Mooresville, Concord, China Grove, Kannapolis, Cleveland, those areas. Looks like that's where
Cleveland, the city, not the county. I'm just pointing out
the city. Yeah, city of Cleveland, Davidson. Essentially, this is continuing your tornado warning now. Again, radar indicated. We don't, there's no evidence of any debris, which is good. That, and we hope that holds. But when you see debris on the radar, it's too late. And so we need folks to be taking shelter in those areas. And this goes until 10:30 a.m. So they have the storm 5 miles northwest of Huntersville near Ramsey Creek Park, moving northeast at 45. So about 9:50 for Cornelius, Mooresville, Davidson, Lake Norman, and Ramsey Creek Park. So basically now, for all intents and purposes, Cleveland around 10:10, Cleveland City, not Cleveland County, town of Cleveland, and definitely not Ohio. So just making sure that everybody is, for those coming in, it's like this isn't the Ohio Weather Group. This is the Carolina Weather Group, and there is a Cleveland, North Carolina.
We have so many town names over here that are stolen from other states. So.
Yeah, it happens. We all do it. So. So again, these areas are, these areas are, most likely, again, they're right in this this apex area where we're seeing some shifting of some low level wind shear being enhanced, and so this is where we're concerned for the risk of maybe there could be something could spin up here. So again, if you're in these areas, again, if your phone went off, everything like that, best thing you can do, get into a safe place, lowest room.
Yeah, the good news is somebody on YouTube is telling us cell phones are going off in Mooresville. So I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
right. They're getting
yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what we want to see. That's exactly what we want to hear. All good stuff to get that out, to get the warning, to get the word out there. So. So yeah, we'll keep we're keeping an eye on this. I did want to talk quickly about the new severe thunderstorm watch. So we have, so let me zoom back out here real quick. So we do have a new severe thunderstorm watch. Notice not a tornado watch. It is they're more concerned about damaging winds. It's not to say that a tornado couldn't happen, but it looks like damaging winds are increasingly the concern. And this is going to include, the PD area, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Eden, Greensboro. Those areas, and this we'll kind of zoom in on that a little bit more. And this severe thunderstorm watch is going to go until 5 o'clock. Chances are good it'll probably be canceled earlier, but we are but we'll see how that ultimately plays out. So anyway, so we have a new so that's what's going on. We have the new severe thunderstorm watch. That's upstream. I mean, we're going to be done, before you know it, we're going to be done with the tornado watch in places like Columbia and Orangeburg.
Yeah.
Greenville, you're already out of it.
Can you take us to Edgefield, South Carolina? I don't like calling out misinformation, but there's in chat right now a lot of talk about a tornado warning for Edgefield. We don't have a tornado warning.
No, there are no tornado warnings for no.
9:49.
The very much the opposite. In fact, let's go to the let's go back to the single site radar, and as you can see, as it comes up, we have some rain. There's rain. It's definitely raining in Edgefield, Edgefield, you know, Plum Branch, Parksville, McCormick, those areas. But the warnings are well to your east. You're not even under a watch anymore in Edgefield. I think that's we want folks to know that you're not under a watch anymore. There's no, you know, there's no warning. There's no watch. You're done. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the cold front is starting to work its way into Georgia. So you're in a good spot there. Really, like, I think that's something that we need to make sure that we're, you know, that we're aware of here, is that we're actually quite okay in most of these locations at this point. It's the area's point.
Yeah, we'll watch for a few discrete cells earlier. We know this line put on quite a show in portions of South Carolina earlier, and it's making its way now out of Charlotte. It's moving away from Mooresville. Yes, Mooresville is under the tornado warning, to answer one of the questions that's also coming into chat. But this line is very quickly going to move away from the I-77 corridor. Matter of fact, it's almost out of the polygon they've drawn, and we'll watch for a few discrete cells this afternoon. But I think that transition, Jared, as you were pointing out, from a tornado watch to a tornado or severe thunderstorm watch as we go through the rest of the afternoon, right? So Greensboro, Raleigh, can't rule out the chance of a tornado, but that signifies something to me, that as they think this line continues off to the east, we're still watching for a wind threat, but less of a chance.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised by that. I mean, we're starting to get we're starting to get away from some of the more favorable shear profiles the further east you get, and you know, so that's not a major, you know, that's certainly something that we'll need to keep an eye on, but it's not something that we're overly worried about at this point. Again, damaging winds, they do plenty, they do enough. You don't need it to be spinning to be a problem, but
Right.
We're looking. I've got the terminal Doppler here in this software, and again, right now, crossing over Concord, Kannapolis, Enochville, up to Troutman.
I like that the terminal shows me something that I didn't see from the view I was looking at. So I kind of was like, the heavy rain is moving out of Mooresville. There's that second part of the line disconnected back behind it, just coming off the lake, that we do need to keep an eye on there. There's a Bacon in chat. What's your name in chat? We'll keep an eye on it. In terms of like a Charlotte area warning, this is Northern Mecklenburg. This is not Uptown. This is portions of Iredale, Northern Mech, and now coming into portions of Cabarrus.
Yeah, I mean, when we took, I mean, this is so far east of Charlotte now. I mean, it did not take long at all. In fact, Charlotte proper is no longer even under any warning. This is long gone at this point. Matthews is on the edge, but Charlotte proper, you're out of it. You're in some rain. You know, maybe some, you know, thunder and lightning, but yeah, you're out of it at this point. Really, the concern has shifted to north and east of Charlotte proper. It looks like it's cleared. I mean, it's cleared 277. It's cleared
it's cleared 45. It's cleared the whole perimeter.
Yeah, it's cleared the perimeter. Yeah.
You know, it has left behind some impacts. I can show you Duke Energy. We know there are other power companies too, but Duke by far the largest, right? In Mecklenburg County right now, reporting 15,000 customers without power. They're going to have about 175 spots to get out to. We'll expect the number in Cabarrus to climb. York has about 1,600 outages, but let's take it back into upstate South Carolina. 2,000 customers without power for Duke Energy right now in Greenville County. Anderson's got 1,500. These are areas that also had tornado warnings and the heavy rains earlier today. So we'll watch for some of those numbers to climb, especially as the line continues to move.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's the issue. Again, I think the good news is that, you know, if there is good news in this, is that there are you know, a reasonable amount of you know, it's moving quickly, and you know, we're getting through this relatively quickly, and I think that is always helpful. And you know, and with that in mind, that means that the power can come back that much faster too. So so that'll be good. So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get James out of here. James, thank you for your help this morning. Thanks for jumping in. Now we're pretty much clear from getting out of Charlotte. Let's get you on to your day, and we'll hang here for a little bit as we still have some tornado warnings that are going on to the north of Charlotte that we're keeping an eye on here. So just reading, again, just reading chat, reading everything here, keeping an eye on all the things, and certainly a busy morning of weather. But the good news is that with the front, when the front gets through in particular, that should that should really put the kibosh on it. And nice thing is, honestly, is that this is again moving fairly quickly. So we're taking a look at the terminal Doppler right now. This is north of Charlotte. This is going to be in Davidson, Kannapolis, China Grove, Cleveland, Mooresville, those areas. It's going to be windy. It's going to be windy. It's going to be gusty here. Doing some ETAs here on the possible tornado warning storms, and let me see which one is. So Mooresville at 9:58, Cleveland at 10:14, Kalimi at 10:25, Welcome at 10:47, and 10:48 in Clemens. So we're starting to get, so we're going to start to get into the Greensboro metro here before too long. So we are in a. Again, so we've got, the potential here for a tornado. Good news is that we've had no reports out of this so far. That's been the nice thing about it. We're going to go back to We're going to go back to the GSP radar source here. Get you a little bit better view of it. And yeah, you can see that broken line of storms. You have one segment that's moving through Concord down towards Monroe. You have the second segment that's moving through Statesville right now. Again, I think we have. I think we have. I'm just reading a ton of things here right now, and again, so far so good. But we're keeping an eye on that. That's the most likely area that a tornado could develop. But as we go through, look at the velocity products. I mean, the velocity is looking kind of noisy, honestly, which is yeah. Not too bad, not seeing any signs of any debris being co-located here. So again, GSP is keeping a close eye on this. The Weather Service office up there, keeping an eye on that, should be okay. These are the only tornado warnings in town at this point, which is really good news. We'll keep an eye. So we'll be keeping an eye on that if we hear anything. Let's set this into motion here now. You can see the new severe thunderstorm warning pops up. Have some questions in the chat around Charleston, and the good news for Charleston is that it looks like it's sub-severe right now. It looks like it's going to stay that way. We have some showers moving in ahead of it. We've been mostly clouded over, which is good. We're getting into, this starts to get closer to some of the cooler water at this point, and so that's going to help a lot. In fact, once we get this line through, the tornado threat will end. Which is really phenomenal news as we get through there. So again, this is moving by. This is moving by pretty quickly. Taking a look in the Charleston metro area. The satellite radar composite is really not very impressive that far south, which I am pretty happy about. Now we do have some thunder and lightning here. Let's go to a single site radar. In the Charleston metro, and again, we're about 70 degrees in Charleston here. The line is just now reaching I-95 right about 10 o'clock, so it's pretty much on the updated schedule. We do have some heavy rain that has developed from St. George south towards Jacksonboro and out towards the mouth of the Edisto. There's some thunder and lightning in these, but nothing severe. Looking at the winds, not really seeing anything here that's scaring me, which is good news. Set that into motion here. You can see this is a rapid update radar here. It looks like it's weakened a little bit because the heavy rain is over the radar right now, but that will tick back up once we get some of that heavy rain. That rain will tend to attenuate the radar beam a little bit. It'll kind of like make it knock it down just a little bit, and so you can make that a little bit difficult at times. But yeah, when we look at when we're looking through the Charleston Metro, and really so far so good, nothing to be too terribly concerned about at this point. So that is good news. So let's get back to the let's do that. Let's do that, and let's get back to the tornado warning that we have north of Charlotte. Now we have one warning left. This is north of Mooresville, so into Cleveland. So if there's anything here, and really evidence is scant at this point, we're really starting to get into radar no man's land here with some of this. And let me find that. Might go back to the psych. We now have I think that's a new tornado warning. Yeah, we have a new tornado warning. Okay, so we have a second tornado warning in North Carolina now. So yeah, let's go to this view here. So first tornado warning, Mooresville. You're kind of in between two lines here. You're gonna get one more round of rain, and that should be over here fairly soon. A lot of severe thunderstorm warnings, but we have a new tornado warning now that is out for places like Locust and Oakboro and Albemarle and Baden here. There's a circulation right there. It's one of the kinks in the lines. So again, this is the thing that we've been concerned about, is kinks in the lines, and that's that's pretty telltale. We'll see what happens here. Again, I'm going to set this into motion. I need to grab a few more frames. Get this into motion, and you can see that is Weather Service in Raleigh taking no chances here, issuing this tornado warning. This tornado warning goes until 10:30. So again, it'll be over pretty quickly. Only 30-minute warnings here. But yeah, Oakboro, Albemarle, Baden. It looks like there's a kink in the line developing, and you can see it on the reflectivity here too. You can watch my mouse, see how the little panning action there. You can see the kind of a little notch here at the leading edge of the line. There's a lot of these. It's a lot of little ones. This one is looking a little bit more prominent, and so that's why Raleigh warned it. Elsewhere, along the line, we have severe thunderstorm warnings. So again, this is gonna be one of those situations where these things spin up, they can spin down, they might not spin at all. Hard to know. It's very difficult. The good news is that the terminal Doppler, for example, updates every minute. We have a good way to see these things as we go. Technology's improved a lot over the years, which is awesome. And, we're big fans of that. We're big fans of those kinds of improvements. And those kinds of improvements have helped us, they've helped us, keep tabs on these a little bit better than we used to be able to, which is really good. So we're going to keep an eye on this again, right now, as I'm going to do something here real quick. I'm going to go to Montgomery and Stanley counties are in the tornado warning there. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll be watching this closely and monitoring, the Weather Service in Raleigh to see if there's any reports that come out of this. Statesville recently reported a tree down at exit 154 on I-40 in Iredell County. So we do have some tree. So we do have some tree damage here. 61-mile-an-hour gust in Monroe, Union County. 59-mile-an-hour gust at Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. It's been a very breezy day to really kind of, I don't know, put it mildly, I suppose. But Metro Charlotte, you're clear from it now. In fact, again, the tornado watch is being cleared. from west to east as time goes on. So we should see another chunk of counties come out of this pretty soon. The line of storms is let me do that. The line of storms stretches well into Florida. The tornado watches, is in effect in Jacksonville, all the way up through getting into the low country of South Carolina, low country and PD areas of South Carolina now. We have the 2 tornado warnings there and a considerable damage warning for severe thunderstorm warning for considerable damage, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts on the apex of the line here. You're still getting into North Wilkesboro and Mount Airy and Sparta. So, again, a lot here. But the good news is it is moving quickly, and it's going to get through in honestly pretty short order. Looking down at Charleston, the line is looking less intense. In fact, if anything, it's almost being subsumed by this second batch of storms. Might have some weakening in that segment, and that's a great thing for the folks in Charleston, including here, including where I am. So that is, so it's been, again, busy morning, maybe a little sooner than we expected, but certainly not completely out of the ordinary here. So still watching this around Locust here, and this is just east of Locust here, getting close to Highway 52, Albemarle, Baden, Norwood, pretty much right over Oakboro and Red Cross right now. There's you can see this little bit of circulation, a little bit of red protruding here. So winds going away and winds going toward right here. It's kind of where I'm interested, and if there's something there, that's where it would be. Again, we're looking from the terminal Doppler. This doesn't have any dual pole capability, so we can't see any. We can't see any anything there. So the Charleston radar is down. Great timing by the Charleston radar. Looks like it has. Looks like it's gone kaput. So we're down to Columbia for looking at the Charleston area. And again, I think one bit of good news there is that we're not expecting too much in the way of problems right now. We still have a tornado watch there, but not really expecting too many issues there. So we'll keep an eye on that. And again, this really the area that we're concerned about right now is in this tornado warning polygon where we have this kink in the line, the circulation that is showing up around Oakboro and Red Cross. This is approaching Highway 52 very quickly. It's moving 55, 60 miles an hour. Again, no indication of anything on the ground, but something that we'll need to, certainly keep an eye on here as we monitor multiple sources here. I've got, the Weather Service in Raleigh, Weather Service in Charleston, Columbia, Greenville, Spartanburg, Blacksburg. We're monitoring all those offices to see, kind of get their thoughts, what they're looking at. It helps inform our coverage very much. So obviously very appreciative of our friends at National Weather Service. They're, just the top flight folks. And it's hard to do what we do without them. So let's, I'm just playing with radars here a little bit, try and get another look at this. Again, this one tornado warning storm that we're talking about near Albemarle is very much in radar no man's land. We can't really see very close to the ground here, and so that makes it difficult for us to understand what's happening. But you can see maybe a little bit of a tightening of that circulation starting to show. It's starting to show up there. So I just kind of get it close enough to where I can't really. It's a little far off. My green screen is not fully aligned with the radar screen, so it's hard for me to point at these things. But yeah, we'll just use the mouse, and you can see there. That's where we're looking at. maybe something trying to quickly spin up there. So again, tornado warning continues. Locust, I think you're okay. Oakboro, this is in front of you at this point. Albemarle, Baden, generally Highway 52 between New London and Norwood, probably a good opportunity to get off the road, stay where you need to be the next few minutes, and we go from there. Couple notes in chat about special weather statement in Charleston, not surprising. Again, the concern for 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts is now moving into the Charleston metro. This is subsevere, bad storm, but not the best way to start your Sunday, but also nothing too terribly concerning at this point, which is really lovely. I think we can all say that if we have a situation like this, the thing that we want to happen is for very little to happen. So just getting some typing done here real quick. Sorry, all there's just a lot to do here. Again, in the Charleston metro, you're not really worried about you guys right now. I think I'm feeling pretty good about where things lie at the moment there. So again, it was just this storm that I've got behind me here with this circulation now getting near Albemarle here. You can see a little bit of a turn, see a little bit of those inbound winds and a little bit of those outbound winds kind of twisting around. That little kink right there is pretty persistent, and so kind of keeping a close eye on that. All right. So let's see here. All right, let me I also want to see what yeah. So so again, if you're flying out of Charleston, I think you'll be fine. I'm not overwhelmingly concerned at this point. For the Charleston metro, this is going to be over. This is going to be over by 1 o'clock. I think Charleston metro area, and that might be a pretty gross overestimation, honestly, of when this will be done. So fingers crossed that that we'll get through this relatively quickly. I'm just still watching this kink in the line again. No indication from the Weather Service that anything is down yet, but probably just updated the tornado warning for Albemarle. 10:09, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Plyler, 7 miles southwest of Albemarle, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. And again, this is a radar indicated tornado. This is not down at the moment, but something could, but there is potential for something to spin up and spin down very quickly. So that's what we want folks to be mindful of here over the next hour, is that these things can get going and dissipate just as fast. This is the squall line tornadoes. That's one of their hallmarks. It's almost like tropical in a sense, in that they are relatively difficult to pick up on and detect. So you'll see an abundance of caution from the Weather Service offices given the environment to issue that. Looking at the second tornado warning here, there's still some concern for areas around Cleveland, North Carolina. If there's going to be anything there, it's right over Cleveland, North Carolina right now. Well, we should hopefully see this warning. We'll see if they continue to extend it. There hasn't been any, I don't think there's been any reports from this one. And so, I wouldn't be surprised to see this. Wouldn't be surprised to see this go away. Honestly, at some point in the near future. Again, Woodleaf, Cooley, Moxville. Let's see what they do. Let's see if this gets extended further downstream. And again, this is when we get into we're still in GSP territory. So, so it'll be the same Weather Service office. So we'll see what, we'll see what we do there. But looking, taking the larger view here real quick. So here is severe thunderstorm warnings, roughly from about Clarendon County, South Carolina, up through Sumter, approaching Florence. We did have some questions about Florence and the PD area. You're now under severe thunderstorm watch in those areas. The risk will be increasing over the next hour or so. In fact, this is knocking on the door of Florence. We'll see if Wilmington will be getting involved here shortly. See what kind of warnings they decide to do here. If they decide to go with warnings, they do have a warning to your west. Can imagine that something will fill in here fairly shortly, actually. The worst of the weather is over for you in Greenville, in Columbia, in Greenwood, in Charlotte, Asheville. Those areas, you're in decent shape. There is a flash flood warning for Brevard. There was some heavy rain that came through here. But again, there's the potential for some flooding to develop on the Upper French Broad Basin. Again, this is not this is something to be concerned about here. But right now, when we look at kind of the larger view, the good news is that much of the rain is also over there, so that's helpful. Yeah. So T-Rex, thank you for the super chat. Definitely appreciative of that, and appreciative of all of our supporters helping us to do what we do here on the Carolina Weather Group. So again, two tornado warnings still ongoing here. We have the one in near the town of Cleveland. And then we have the kink in the line that's kind of broadening out a little bit, but near Albemarle. Also, another kink in the line starting to develop here, maybe a little bit better defined near Polkton. And again, we don't have a tornado warning here yet. We'll see if, the Weather Service decides to make a move here. We'll see what happens there. So again, this is all progressing eastwards. So, we've had some questions about some further east locations. And so, yeah, let's take it to the satellite radar view. And in fact, actually, let's simplify this a little bit further, and let's just talk about the watches. So again, here are your watches. We have a tornado watch out from Savannah up to Charleston, still in Columbia, but I think that you'll be out of that fairly soon. Charlotte, similar situation. Greenville, you are now out of the watch. Augusta area, Augusta-Aiken, you're now out of the watch, which is good news. A new severe thunderstorm watch is up until 5 o'clock, includes Eden, Greensboro, Raleigh, Fayetteville, Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, Florence. The line of storms is getting close to Florence. We'll go ahead and go back to the satellite radar view here and put this into motion. And you can see the watches as they animate over time and how they get away over time. Again, you're seeing the Weather Service offices are clearing the watches as it moves eastward. So that's that is good. And that'll be good. You get through this and you're done. That's the nice thing about it. But in the meantime, there's still things you got to get through. So for what it's worth, it looks like that's interesting. It looks like the Weather Service in Wilmington has gone with a special weather statement for 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Florence. Probably based on upstream observations, we might not be seeing the winds that that are in the severe category. We'll see. But the fact that they're going special weather statement is usually a good sign. Typically a good sign. Of course, they can upgrade that to a warning as needed. And once again, quick spin ups are possible on the edge of the line here. And we have a camera view, checking this out here. This is Thomasville, North Carolina. And, you know, pretty cloudy there. This is the head of the line. You can kind of see the line trying to fire up in the distance there. Let me see here. Just kind of taking a peek at a couple things, and yeah, let's get back to the let's see. Just taking a peek at a couple things here real quick. Just yeah, so this is going to be so where we're looking is actually, I need to switch up the radar that I'm using to see that, but yeah, this is where kind of the leading edge of the line here. This is where I would, Thomasville is where I would expect the next potential circulation, or not circulation rather, but straight line wind to affect the area there. So keep an eye on that. Again, right now looking at Albemarle here. Go back to the local radar view, and you can see still some evidence of a kink in the line here. It's now crossed Highway 52, and is Wadesboro. There's definitely you know, looking interesting on the terminal. Again, we're looking at 2,200 feet up at this point, and we're going to be getting it. We're getting on the edge of the terminal's range. So we'll be leaving the terminal Doppler behind soon, and then we'll be kind of doing a hodgepodge of the Raleigh radar, the Wilmington radar, the Columbia radar. The Charleston radar is out. So that is, and that's certainly something that we need to, you know, keep a close eye on here as well. Let's see. Let me just do a couple things here. All right, and again, you know, we're a lot of things to look at today, as you can imagine. So please be patient as we, you know, work through some stuff, and you know, we're dealing with the radar outage. We're dealing with, you know, just the usual Sunday morning antics, it feels like. So we are going to continue to monitor this. So again, Albemarle area, watching that. The other tornado warning that was in effect, that was in you know, near Concord and those areas, that has been allowed to expire. Looks like is not being reissued. We'll see what they end up doing with it, but I don't think if they're going to reissue it, I feel like they would have done so by now. There's just really no evidence of any rotation up there at this point. Really, the main concern is for this one tornado warning in Albemarle and Baden here. And then there's, you know, then we have the other interesting area of interest near Wadesboro. But again, we're starting to look higher and higher up as we use the terminal Doppler. So we're going to be bouncing around radar to radar here for the next little bit. And as I look at my window here in Charleston, it's starting to get dark. It's starting to get, you know, it's starting to get a little, you know, a little quiet, you know, a little dark. Probably going to start raining here soon. But again, nothing. So let's see. There's yeah, I'm just gonna get a couple Bear with me here a sec. We're getting some notes out. I'm having some issues with my posting today, because of course I'm having issues with my posting today. Just give me just a second here, and we'll get back to what we're saying. If I go to, actually, let's go to Columbia's radar here, because I have a good look at Wadesboro here, and this is another one of those broken segments here. But we also have purple haze showing up, so it's hard for me to look at the velocity. But you can see the reflectivity here is showing. We can see the reflectivity doing its thing. A little bit of a broken line segment there, but no warning so far, so we'll hope that holds. The circulation around Albemarle is about to break containment here, it looks like. We're getting towards the end of the polygon. This is just, the circulation is, if there's circulation in there, it's crossed Highway 52. It looks like it's now around Baden, North Carolina. And again, this is going to be moving out there soon. We'll see what Raleigh does if they decide to extend the tornado warning downstream. As far as tornado warnings go, this is the only game in town. So that's what we're at. So yeah, so again, Charleston radar is out. That's not a huge deal. We're able to see, I wouldn't read too much into that. Sometimes you look at that radar wrong and it'll go out, which I believe is what probably happened here. Starting to see some of the heavier rain begin to work into the Charleston area, and once again, we're just keeping a close eye on this. But right now, so far so good. If you are in the Charleston metro. So I'm trying to pin this window in the appropriate location here. Got let's okay, that's not what that should do. Getting some windows in order so we can see everything that's going on. And again, we're watching sky cams. We're watching all sorts of different sources of information, weather service offices, everything there. So looks like we do have, all right. So Raleigh has decided to issue a tornado warning on the Wadesboro area. So that was that area that we were talking about a little bit ago. And it looks like that the Weather Service has decided to issue on that. So we now have a tornado warning that's in effect for the Wadesboro area, North Carolina. So this is for central Anson, south central Montgomery County, and northwestern Richmond County till 11 a.m. And again, Ansonville, this will be in your area around 10:30. And I think I hit the wrong button there. Where did I put that? All right, there it is. And yep, so what we're going to do here, we're going to add the Charleston Weather Instagram page to our coverage here. So we're gonna be welcoming in a new audience shortly, and again, we're gonna bring some more Charleston folks in here just to keep you all apprised as to what's going on. I think the good news is that there's not really anything severe in Charleston, which is good news. We do have a bit of a radar outage there, but other than that, you know, that's not out of the. I don't know why that's not working. So we're gonna. All right, cool. Let's. We're gonna send some data there, and then once we have that up and running here, we'll get going with our friends in Charleston. All right, and we're going to be there. So go ahead and go live here, and we're going to go ahead and welcome in a new audience from the Charleston Weather Facebook page, or rather the Charleston Weather Instagram page. Facebook page has been on here for a minute. So go ahead and welcome folks in. And again, we're watching this, you know, we're watching a circulation. I think the good news is for our Charleston folks right now, as we kind of move around, is that, you know, we're getting some heavy rain, some lightning, some thunder. But the good news is that the severe threat is right now not a major concern. The rain moving in ahead of it has helped choke off some of the instability. We've had stuff to the south that's choked off the instability. 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, certainly a possibility with the line that's coming through right now. Once we get this line through, then the tornado threat will be over. So again, no active tornado warnings in the Charleston metro area, but we're bringing in the Instagram page because I can't update it while I'm doing all of this. So we figure this is the easiest way to get you, to keep you abreast of what's happening over the next hour. And again, this is getting very quickly east of 95 and is going to get out of here before too long. So again, so we're looking okay there. As far as that goes, we'll kind of do a reset here of the whole situation, actually. I think probably is the wise thing to do is we'll go out here. And so here's a satellite radar composite here. There's your line of storms. Again, not looking very impressive as you get further south, really more impressive as you get into the Midlands and PD up towards the North Carolina Piedmont here. And so that's good news. Again, looking at everything here, really the only concern at this point is for the tornadic side of things is in near Wadesboro, where we just had the warning rebox there. So Norman, Foxfire, Norman 11:06, Foxfire at 11:20. You have potential for severe circulation here with this broken part of the line segment. But I think in these areas, again, this is this spot here. This is where we're going to be wanting folks to, to be in shelter. And again, we're looking at North Carolina right now. So, so Wadesboro, Norman, approaching Seven Lakes up there. It's going to cross Highway 220 here in the next 15 minutes. Again, these are all moving quickly. This is all moving very fast here, at 40 miles an hour. That's actually one of the slower ones that I've seen, honestly. So that's the only game in town as far as a tornado warning goes. But we zoom out. We still have a pretty good set of severe thunderstorm warnings along the line. Special weather statements now for 40 to 50 mile an hour winds around Florence into the Charleston metro. You will note that we have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect for Myrtle Beach and places like Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, getting into Raleigh, getting into Greensboro, into Wilmington. That's going to go until 5 o'clock, or it's canceled, whichever comes first. And further south and west, we have the tornado watch that's still in effect, and this goes until 1 o'clock. And again, I would not be surprised to see that get dropped sooner rather than later, as the squall line is now starting to push into the Charleston metro area. Again, it's been disrupted a little bit by some showers off of the ocean, which is great. That far south, the better forcing is found further to the north. So that's the situation right now. The most activity is happening now east of Charlotte. So Charlotte Metro, you're done. That's the nice thing about this too. Once this line gets through, pretty much, severe weather-wise, it should be done. Don't think we're going to have a double barrel kind of situation here, which is good. So that is helpful. And, so there you go. But yeah, in Charleston metro area, you're actually looking okay. I think that's the most important thing, but we'll keep with you. But we'll keep with it. If there's anything pertinent that comes down, we'll let you know. Meanwhile, as we continue to look at the only tornado warning in town at this point, the only tornado warning on the board, there as I get to the proper, get over here. Yeah, we're going to be running out of juice here on the terminal Doppler here, but you can still see as we get towards the edge of the terminal Doppler range here, you can still see that kind of broad rotation that's showing up there. But again, we're getting kind of close to the edge of that, of the range there. So we'll be moving this. I'll be moving this on. Let's see what we can see. I mean, again, we're kind of in a no man's land as far as radar goes right now. Not Rockingham. The terminal Doppler really is the closest thing that you have here, because we have Raleigh, we have Wilmington, and the velocity data is pretty noisy up there. I'm just auditioning radars here at this point, and the purple haze in Columbia. So yeah, I mean, we'll just stick with the Raleigh radar for now, even though it's a little bit noisy. And you can see that it's not the main concern, honestly, is for this break in the line of storms. I think that's the main concern here, is the break in this line of storms. It's moving into Rockingham right now. Now northeast of Wadesboro. This is heading towards Norman and Ellerbe. Eventually Candor. And again, this is in North Carolina, north of Rockingham. So that break that's ultimately what has prompted the Weather Service in Raleigh to decide we should tornado warn this. Let's keep an eye on this, and we'll go from there. But really, radar wise, again, we're not getting a very good look at it at the ground. So again, if you have reports, if you have anything that you need to share, we've seen some good reports already in chat, and we're keeping an eye on it so far, and everything looks good. So definitely appreciate your participation as always, and that is always a helpful thing. So let's take we've gotten a couple more requests to peek at Charleston, so I'm going to do that real quick. And again, I think if there's any bit of good news here, it's that Charleston, we're not too terribly concerned about you. We have some strong wind gusts that'll be moving in, 40 to 50 miles an hour, heavy rain at times. We've seen it's already raining here in my part of town. Not hearing anything crazy. This is we can handle this, and so this really could be this could be off the coast by 11. This is start heading off the coast by 11 a.m. It's moving pretty quickly here. And again, it's moving east at about 50 miles an hour. So that's the good news. And then once this line passes, we should be able to get rid of the tornado watch. So once we get rid of the tornado watch, we're in good shape. But yeah, there's no warnings for, we've had some questions about Somerville. We've had some questions about Charleston Metro. Right now, there are no severe weather warnings in the Tri-County area. We just have that special weather statement. So we're okay. Oh, dear. Okay, we have a report. Oh, my goodness. So this is in Mooresville. We were tracking a tornado earlier. We have a storm report here. We go to LSR. Where'd it go? See if they have an LSR on it yet. So we're looking at the storm reports here, and see if they've got this marked here. We are hearing of a fatality in Mooresville. A tree was down on a vehicle on Bramley Road in Mooresville. And it looks like this has been a confirmed fatality. Someone was in this car, tree came down on it. Man, that's a shame. That's a shame. So this isn't updated yet with fatal information, but yeah, this is the fatality looks like has been confirmed, and so this is going to shut down the Landis Highway for an extended period. As obviously, when you get a fatal in there, that's going to cause some investigation. So that's a real shame. Her thoughts with her family. We have no way, we don't know much beyond that, but that's certainly not a situation we like to see in any. Just don't like to see it. It's one too many. And so yeah, so that's there. But again, let's just keep going with the weather that we got right now, and we'll update you as we hear more. But yeah, so there's your line of storms. It's cleared Charlotte. It's heading into Fayetteville. Looks like it's going to be there in the next 30 minutes to an hour. Raleigh about an hour. Again, it's moving very quickly to the east, about 40 to 50 miles an hour, depending on the segment that you're in. Charleston Metro moving through right now. Again, right now, the good news is that severe weather. We have had some reports of trees down. We've had some things there, but we are seeing. Let's see here. Just reading some updates. It looks like it's a damaging wind threat is going to continue to spread eastward with time. That's why we have a severe thunderstorm watch here until 5 o'clock. Further south, the tornado watch continues until 1 o'clock in the Charleston Metro and Savannah. However, once this line gets through, that should end your severe weather threat. So that will help a ton. Really, the area that we're concerned about right now is in North Carolina. We'll zoom in on that. And this is north of Rockingham. This is now cleared. The warning is cleared Ansonville, which is good. So that's good news. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to the Raleigh radar here. It gives us a little bit of a look here. And again, the main concern here from Raleigh is that we have this break in the line, and that's where sometimes you can see brief tornadoes form there. So again, had some questions about Charlotte, have some questions about all that, and Charlotte, Lexington, Columbia, you're good at this point. The threat is east of you, and looking at the Raleigh radar here, not really seeing much in the way of circulation. Good news there. All in all, the timing is actually fortunate because we've not had a good chance to destabilize today. I'd rather, get through these in the morning and be done, which is good. And again, it looks like the better forcing is showing up further to the north. So that is, again, suboptimal, to have any of this kind of weather, but, could be good. So, thank you to a bunch of Ys and the number 7 HVY67H for the super chat here. Definitely appreciate that over here on YouTube. Definitely appreciative for sure. And thank you for listening to your weather daddy. So again, here's your line of thunderstorms and your severe thunderstorm warnings lining from Greensboro down towards Rockingham into Sumter and Manning, although Sumter and Manning, I think, are going to be able to be cleared from that fairly soon. Florence area is under a special weather statement. There's no severe thunderstorm warning in Florence. So far, Wilmington has decided not to warn, which is no. I'll take that as a plus. We'll take that as a plus. Just kind of circulating around, looking at the the potential for any debris. Not seeing any signs of debris, which is good news. Getting some questions around Winston-Salem and everything like that. Winston-Salem, it's over. You're on the back end of the line. You're good to go. Line is cleared. Winston-Salem. It's now moving. It's now going to be approaching the Greensboro metro area here very shortly. We've had questions about Dobson, so we'll get that answer for you here shortly. And Dobson, yeah, I think in that area, again, you're closer to 77. If you're close to, if you're closer to 77 at this point, you're actually in pretty good shape. So I think that is really good news there. So again, we're getting this line of storms that is getting well east of Highway 77 at this point, or Interstate 77 rather, approaching Greensboro, Thomasville, Asheboro, Troy, Rockingham. And in fact, the last severe thunderstorm warning in the state of South Carolina has been allowed to expire. So that is really good news. And again, we have the line of storms that's pushing through South Carolina right now. We'll join go to the radar analyst here. If you can see that line of storms is moving eastward, and again, some of the heavier rain will be moving into the Charleston metro area now. Some gusty winds, downpours, things like that. But it looks like right now no severe weather, and I hope that continues. Let's keep our fingers crossed for the next hour. Hopefully that continues, and by noon we should have most of this stuff offshore in the metro, which is fantastic. So again, really good news there as this continues to progress eastward. In fact, I don't think there's much in the way of lightning. Taking my inner monitor out to listen, I'm not really hearing much. Looks like a rainy day. So, and that's what we were, when we looked at the forecast for today, that's certainly what we were hoping for, and it looks like that's what we've got, which is a pleasant, certainly a pleasant surprise. We have special weather statements out along the line here. Line is now getting into Florence proper. Myrtle Beach, you're now it's getting close to you. Georgetown getting close to you, but again, winds 40 to 50 miles an hour. Certainly can knock down a tree or two, especially the weaker ones. Certainly can still knock out power, but not near as severe. Question about Southeast Georgia. The line is pretty much offshore Southeast Georgia at this point. Tornado watch continues there. There is a tornado watch out. There's a renewed bit of a line segment heading towards Jacksonville. But again, the only warnings in town, really the only warnings in the nation at this point, are up into the or up into North Carolina. The only two severe weather warnings really in the nation are in North Carolina. This question is about hail in Raleigh. There's this chance you might have some small hail, but I'm not expecting anything terribly damaging. So that is so again, I feel good about overall, future prospects in that area. So let's see here. Just continuing to read some of the things here. Florence, Darlington area. You're under a severe thunderstorm watch. A tornado is not totally off the table, but does not appear likely at this juncture. So that is good news. So again, I'm less concerned there at this point. about such things. So again, thanks to everybody who's joining us here this morning. We're getting up to 11 o'clock. Jared Smith here with you with Carolina Weather Group, live streaming across the Carolinas and the Charleston Weather Facebook and Instagram pages. Welcome, everybody. We have had a reasonably busy morning so far. Unfortunately, we have had a fatality back in Mooresville, North Carolina. A tree went down on a vehicle that was occupied. Thoughts are with thoughts are with them and their family. That's not someone's having a very bad day, and we hope only the best. And I just hate to see this. You hate to see it. There's one tornado warning in town and one severe thunderstorm warning on the board. Both are in North Carolina right now. The line of storms is coming through the Charleston metro, but right now moving into Georgetown and Myrtle Beach and into Florence. But there are special weather statements along the line as opposed to severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. Let's knock on wood that continues. Seems that the better forcing, the better ingredients, the better overlap of ingredients is being found in North Carolina. So that's where we're taking a peek right now. Line of storms has just gotten through Rockingham. We still have this break here in the line where is the potential for a tornado is a little higher. We don't have the best view of velocity here. We're not very close to the ground here. Again, this is not a great spot for radar coverage. So we're kind of having to triangulate between a few different thing there. So so at this point, yeah, there's your circulation right here. If there is anything there, it looks like it's about to break containment. So we'll see. So we will probably see the tornado warning. Looks like right now this is on track to expire at 11. Still monitoring this, obviously, with the line of storms here. And again, line of storms approaching Greensboro, moving through Asheboro, kind of crossing Interstate 73 here, the I-73 corridor. Here's some times of arrival for you. Again, some of these times have honestly already passed, but yeah. So there's your time. There's your arrival times here. Getting into the Greensboro area now. Moving in about the next hour. Down towards Troy, down towards Pinehurst. Again, this is for 60-mile-an-hour winds. And again, there is still the potential for something to pop up on the edge here. But we are here for tornado warnings. And we still have one that's going to go for a couple more minutes. But I do think that we're going to be getting through it here shortly. So that is good news there. But again, we just need to watch this area up in North Carolina for the potential for damaging wind gusts. As we get further south here, into into South Carolina, getting into the PD here. At this point, the line is pretty much over Florence, and might be outpacing. Might be slowing down a little bit. But yeah, the broken line, over Florence, Lake City, approaching Dillon and Marion. But again, the only severe thunderstorm warnings, the highest risk for any damage is found further north into North Carolina. To get into the Charleston metro here, I'm going to have to switch radar views to do that. So let's do that. We get down in the Charleston metro. We have plenty of special weather statements out. Very heavy rain right now, stretching from St. Stephen down to Monk's Corner into Somerville. we have another batch of heavy rain over downtown Charleston right now. Again, I expect a lot of this to begin to clear the area as we get into 11:30. By noon, I think, in the Charleston metro will probably be good. So I think that we're going to be. I think that we're going to be okay here. Again, visibility is going to be lower. You're going to want to make sure that you're taking it easy on the roads. But at this point, right now, not too concerned. And the tornado warning that was in effect here looks like it has been allowed to expire. So we still have a polygon. So we have that tornado warning up north of Rockingham, but that is going to be allowed to expire. So that is good news. Getting that off the board, and then we're going to be we'll be hopefully devoid of tornado warnings for a little bit. And and again, we're getting we're hearing that it's still windy, and it's still plenty windy in this. There's still a lot of there's trees and trees swaying back and forth. There's there's certainly some heavy rain here, but again, as we kind of look at the wider view, at this point, we'll get this polygon off the board here in a second. But at this point, when we take a look at everything here, we have the squall line pressing eastward, but there are going to be no active tornado warnings, which is good. We still have the tornado watch further south. We should see looks like we have another revision to that. Other good news is that the Charleston radar is back up. So we'll be able to use that once again to monitor. So that will be good news. And I think, as we get through this, we have the line coming through and all that. We have no active we're going to have no active tornado warnings here. And we do have a report of a tree down across 174 at the Edisto Library. That is, it came in a little bit ago. So yeah, I'm aware of that. There could be, again, I do anticipate that there's going to be some isolated tree damage from this, but other than that, we have this, we just have this line of storms that continues to, progress eastward, and we have the severe thunderstorm watch. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning now that is going to include Laurinburg, Rayford, and Southern Pines. The tornado warning polygon that's up here will disappear from the screen here in the next 3 minutes. It has been allowed to expire, which is great news. So again, Southern Pines, Rayford, Laurinburg, and this is in North Carolina. Once again, this is in North Carolina. We'll see if they decide to extend the warning into Greensboro and Siler City. Raleigh, this has designs on you, probably in the next, couple hours or so. At 1 o'clock, starting to see some of this stuff move into Raleigh. But with all that in mind, we're going to hold it here for a second. But I think what I'm going to do is we're going to be at the point where we can pause this part of the stream. And what we're going to do is we'll switch it back to our automated Carolina weather net. We will jump off of Instagram here shortly. Over on the Charleston side of things, you can see the tornado watch continues to be trimmed back, and we should see that trim back get into the Charleston metro hopefully by 1 o'clock. Hopefully, and that's when the watch expires. So we should be good there. Fairly shortly here, and again, we do have we do have some questions about cells popping up in the Charleston area here. Let me just get back to the Charleston radar now that we can use that. Not I'm not horribly concerned about those right now. Again, there's some gusty winds in them, and there's going to be some heavy rain. The line is coming through Somerville at this point, but I think we're going to be, we're going to have some, we're going to have some rough weather, but it's certainly right now nothing severe to speak of, which is really good news. And again, that tornado warning in central North Carolina is off the board. So getting to 11 o'clock right now. No tornado warnings on the board at this point. We have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in North Carolina. Actually, now 1 severe thunderstorm warning in North Carolina. We'll see if we'll see if the Weather Service and Raleigh decides to extend, decides to end up issuing for Greensboro, but it does not look like that's the case. Really looking okay, all things considered, at this point. So again, we'll keep an eye on this, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shut down this part of the live stream. We're going to kind of wind this down. If a new tornado warning is issued, we'll come back. But what we'll do right now is we will keep the we're gonna keep the output going here to the Carolina Weather Net, and that will be kind of a live stream of automated live stream showing you all the watches and warnings. But for now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and wind down this part of the stream. And if something happens, we'll come back. That's pretty straightforward. So again, Jared Smith here with the Carolina Weather Group down here in Charleston. Thanks everybody for watching. Fingers crossed we don't need to come back. And we will see you all, hopefully, with our next show. If I don't talk to you before then, Happy New Year. It would help if you could hear me. So now we have audio. Now that we have audio, we can actually talk about this now. So looking at so we got the radar here. Looks like one of those the split S formations that we have been looking at. So we have a new tornado warning now. This is for this is to the northwest of Raleigh. It's very near Durham, and includes primarily Hillsborough at this point. And so we'll take this take the storm track out here. So this should be in Hillsborough at 12:02. Again, this is one of those radar indicated situations. This is not something where we have anything. This is not something where we have anything currently indicated on the ground. But there's a storm track there again, about 12:02 to Hillsborough. It looks like this is going to stay to the circulation part. The part that we're concerned about is going to stay out of Durham proper and is going to stay well to the northwest of Raleigh, which is good news. So again, this stays out of Durham, but we do have this broken circulation once again, kind of this broken line segment here, and this is where we look for the potential for small tornadoes to spin up within the line, and that's certainly the concern that we have here. I'll go to the velocity and I can show you kind of what we're talking about, and yeah, we'll zoom in on that velocity couplet right here, and you can see right in here. Get the little telestrator going. Do that right in here. This is where there's an area of concern that we could see a brief spin-up tornado. Could develop, could touch and come back. With that in mind, let's go take a look at the debris detection. And so far, so good. Looks like everything is uniform. Don't see any signs of any rotation showing up. So that's a good, or rather, any debris showing up. So that's a good. That's a good sign for us. Let's go back to the reflectivity, and again, that's where kind of this is where we're a little concerned about the potential for something to try and spin up here. So again, if you're in Hillsborough right now, again, my recommendation is that you get to your safe place. This is going to cross I-40 here in just a minute, where I-40 meets I-85, and And so yeah, so we're going to have that cross. And again, there's your estimated times of arrival here. So about noon, right around noon, we should have whatever is here um, should be crossing right where 40 and 85 meet up. And it looks like they share for a little bit, and then it will split back off once you get past Greensboro. But um, yeah, so there's a little closer look at that. So yeah, so if you're in this area, if you're somehow listening to us, or somebody who's driving this area right now, recommend they find a rest stop somewhere to pull off, um, get into a safe place here for the next 5-10 minutes. Should be again, the nice thing is that these are moving. The good news is that these are moving quickly. The bad news is that these are moving quickly, and you don't have a lot of time to do what you need to do. Again, it's moving that northeast about 45-50 miles an hour. Again, radar indicated at this point, no indication that there's anything on the ground, but with the way that these things work, spin up, spin down very quickly. And so that's what we're concerned about. That's what we're going to watch for. That's why we're here, to let folks know exactly what is what. This is the only tornado warning on the board. In fact, this is the only severe weather warning really on the board in the Carolinas at this point. Earlier, we were watching this, we were tracking this line of storms that had numerous severe thunderstorm warnings on it, head of the line. But as time has gone on, we've seen fewer of those and more in the way of special weather statements for generally 40, 45, 50 mile an hour gusts. But there is still the risk for an occasional thing to try and pop up and spin here. And so that's what we're dealing with right now. And let me just make a couple adjustments here. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And so there's your so there's your broken area. There's your potential circulation here. We'll go back to the velocity view. And again, it's just kind of broad. I think that's the one thing here. It's kind of broad. It's not really very horribly tight and well defined, but I think they're concerned. But the concern is that if this does tighten up, you could get a tornado fairly quickly. So that is why we are here. That's why we are talking about this right now. Because this could tighten up and this could become a little bit more than we once bargained for. So, so again, right at this 85-40 junction here, it's going to cross Highway 70, and it looks like we have about 3 minutes left. On the impact there, so it's getting pretty close at this point. Again, 12:05 at Hillsborough. If this holds up, 12:40 at Stem, 12:55 at Oxford. Zoom that out a little bit. And as always, we're checking multiple sources of radar because that's what you do in these kinds of situations. And we'll actually switch to another product to kind of show you what's going on with just to take all the noise out of it, and let's look at just the wind shear here. And so we have that. We have this little peak of wind shear, normalized rotation showing up right here near Hillsborough. And again, we'll just zoom in real good on that. Nice little uptick here. This is a tool that we use to help us kind of cut through the noise a little bit. And again, it looks like we have a little bit of, certainly a lot of like shifting of winds along the leading edge of the line. That's where this kink is right here that we're a little concerned about. And so that's why the Weather Service in Raleigh has decided to go with the tornado warning there. So this is going to go across Hillsborough in a matter of minutes. And again, if we look at the debris, we can look at that here. We don't see any indication that there's any debris being wafted, which is very good news. Looking at about 1,800 feet up. So it wouldn't take too terribly much of any circulation to get this thing to pop back up here. And so so getting questions around, Chapel Hill and those areas. Let's go back to the storm, the live scan radar here, and zoom out a little bit, and really don't have many concerns. Raleigh Metro, what you're going to see is gusty winds, um, 40, 45, 50 miles an hour as the line comes through. Many of you are not going to see severe weather from this at this point. It certainly seems like that kind of the overall output of the storm has been diminishing to some extent, which is good. Again, we still have a good bit of wind shear. We still have, things that we need to be, keeping an eye on there. But as far as instability as far as available instability and things like that, we're really seeing kind of a dearth of that, and more of a, more of a situation where the vast majority of the line is okay. It's just you get these little broken spots that occasionally do that. And so again, we're looking at lots of different sources of or radar here to help us understand, the situation on the ground. And yeah, there's just not a lot of instability for this to work with at this point, which is really honestly about as good as you can ask for, all things considered. But we're still dealing with a very dynamic storm system, and so occasionally we can get areas that can pop up and give us problems. And we do have a little bit of instability here. We have enough to where that the Weather Service is, going to do the prudent thing and warn on it. So, again, watching this closely, looks like this right now is getting across the 4085 junction right now. And again, Hillsborough is the main area in the line of fire here. Kind of a long, kind of drawn out, fairly well, not the tightest rotation we've ever seen here on the Carolina Weather Group, that's for sure, but just enough to where the Weather Service is going to keep an eye on this for a little bit longer. And again, this tornado warning goes until 12:15, and hopefully we can be rid of it even before then. Certainly would be nice for that to happen. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Not even close, not even remotely close. All right, so yeah, just getting a look at again, just looking at a couple things here from the various Weather Service offices, and so making sure we got everything we need here to properly inform y'all. So again, this is this going over Hillsborough probably right about now. Again, this is moving at a pretty good clip, about 45, 50 miles an hour. But this is the only warning in town. This is the only severe weather warning really that we have on the board, is right here in Alamance and Orange County in North Carolina. We have a lot of special weather statements out, and we do have watches out. So let's take a quick look at the severe weather watches that we've got going on. We still have a tornado watch from about the Santee River into Charleston, Charleston Quad County area. I don't think that's going to last too much longer. The line has come through there. It's actually getting kind of nice outside. And it's getting decent outside again. There's some rain going on in Charleston, but nothing too concerning. And in fact, that tornado watch has just been canceled. So the tornado watch actually in the Charleston metro area is no longer in effect. That literally just was canceled here. Further north, we have a severe thunderstorm watch, and this goes until 5 o'clock. But again, as the line comes through, it's going to be trimmed bit by bit. This will be trimmed away. So Wilmington, Fayetteville, Raleigh, Eden, you're under a severe thunderstorm watch right now. But again, that's going to be trimmed away over time, and that'll be getting off the board for us pretty soon as well. So So again, a little bit of breaking news here. The tornado watch now in the Charleston Metro. The map hasn't updated yet, but that is no longer in effect. That has been canceled. So now the main area is this severe thunderstorm watch that's ongoing in central and eastern North Carolina, and this goes until 5 or until it's canceled, whichever comes first. So that is good news. So let's get back to the tornado warning rather that's ongoing. Again, we have this broken circulation here. Go to the velocity scan. Again, still not looking great, not looking like, but not looking horrible either. It's not looking, it doesn't have that real big tightness that we would typically look for in these kinds of situations. But again, some heavy rain, gusty winds from this for the vast majority of us. Could still see a few trees down, could still see some power lines down. But the concern is waning a bit as far as like a more widespread wind damage effect. It's just we have these little areas now that we're concerned about for possible tornadoes that are popping up, which some of the line segments break up. And so, yeah, so that's what we're watching here approaching Hillsborough right now. This is pretty much right at the 4085 junction here, about to cross Highway 70 near Hillsborough. Let's zoom in on that real tight. And yeah, this is, again, this is for Alamance and Orange counties in North Carolina. And this is going to go until 12:15. And it is 12:07 right now, so we have a few minutes. And again, yeah, and again, we're hearing from folks, it's windy. Yeah, this is definitely a good windstorm. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. There's a good bit of wind with this, and there's going to be with this. But the good news is that it's moving relatively quickly. In fact, if you're in Greensboro, it's the line's already passed you. Winston-Salem, Thomasville, Asheboro. The leading edge of the line has already passed you, and with that goes your severe weather risk. That's all moved past. And at this point, you just still have these small breaks in the line looking southward, but you can see the special weather statements at this point pretty well lining up these white polygons or special weather statements. And that line is just not looking as impressive as it was even earlier today. Go to the satellite and radar composite. Let's put this into motion, and you can see kind of where this is going here. And again, you can see the extent of that severe thunderstorm watch over time. And now the tornado watch still hasn't come off the board yet, but that is no longer in effect in the Charleston Metro. So, again, just watching this, and you can see the line does not look terribly impressive from a reflectivity standpoint, especially in the national composite here. But there are still some heavy rain. There's still some still some gusty winds to deal with. No question about it. And that'll be something that we need to, monitor very closely for. So again, let's go back to the Raleigh local radar here and zoom back in. And then there's your, there's one piece of line, there's another piece of line, and this is surging out ahead of it, ahead of this. And that's why there's some concern for maybe something to quickly spin up around Hillsborough. But the leading edge of this is moving away fairly quickly, and go to velocity to tell the story. And there's still some shear along this, but it's actually, it's almost we like to say, kind of escaping containment at this point. So we'll see if there is an extension of the warning. Let's see what this does, but indications are from Raleigh that this will be allowed to expire at 12:15 on time, which is good news. So we should hopefully get an expiration on that here shortly. And we'll see if they issue downstream. If they were going to issue downstream, I think we would see something about that. But as Raleigh's indicating, and as we've been showing you here, we've been seeing this rotation has been kind of petering out a little bit. It's been weakening a fair bit, and so we should be able to be tornado warning free here fairly shortly. And again, just looking at lots of different pieces of information that are coming through, and again, we appreciate all of you here, monitoring with us at the Carolina Weather Group. This afternoon, we're officially past noon, and we've been here for much of the morning. We had a good bit of tornado warnings earlier as the line moved through Charlotte. And we have this one now that is not long for this world. In fact, I think they've already sent the expiration message for it. So yeah, this is allowed to expire here at 12:15. We still have, there's still some shear in the line, but again, the rotation is weakened sufficiently enough to where they're letting it go and they're not expanding the warning further northeast. So that is really good news. That's what we like to see here. Hopefully we can keep this trend going. And meanwhile, for the rest of us here, once again, we'll take the zoomed out view. We can see the line has passed through Charleston. The tornado watch has been canceled there. The line is moving, now moving through Georgetown, getting into Myrtle Beach. Is going to get into Wilmington here fairly soon. Fayetteville knocking on the door. Raleigh knocking on the door. 40, 50 mile an hour winds. Some brief periods of heavy rain. But overall, not too shabby. I think we'll be feeling, reasonably okay here. All things considered, this could have certainly been much worse, and so far has been benign for the most part. We do have a fatality, unfortunately, to report, and this is back over in Mooresville, where a tree fell on a car earlier, and there was a tree that fell on a car in Mooresville, North Carolina, earlier, and that did result in a fatality, which is incredibly unfortunate. And again, we're thinking about folks there. Somebody lost a family member today, and yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. It's hate to see it, and again, it's one too many. So any fatality is too many, and just a shame. So that will be under investigation here. But again, this tornado warning here, which we came on air for a few minutes ago, looks like is going to be is allowed to expire, and we'll be getting it, and it'll be coming off the screen here shortly. So the risk for tornadoes has decreased here. That's very good news. We're going to go ahead here at 12:15 and go back to the jazz music, among other things, over on the Carolina Weather Net, as we continue to hang out here and monitor for anything that tries to spin up ahead of this line, as this line of storms continues to move through Raleigh, Fayetteville, and eventually into Wilmington, where we have a severe thunderstorm watch. Let's take one more peek at the watches here. Again, this tornado watch is no longer in effect in the Charleston area. The only game in town now for watches is this severe thunderstorm watch. Expires at 5 o'clock, or whenever it's canceled. And includes Raleigh, Fayetteville, and Wilmington. But we should see this get trimmed back over time. So again, just to stay a day to stay aware, but the severe risk is coming to an end pretty quickly from west to east as a strong cold front moves in. And we'll continue to keep an eye on this. But for now, we'll be, it looks like we're doing okay. So we're going to go ahead. It's 12:15. We're going to go ahead and step off, step back once again. If you're watching on the Carolina Weather Group YouTube page, we'll get you back to Carolina Weather Net. And otherwise on Twitch and Facebook, we'll go ahead and sign off for now. But again, continue to monitor. We'll keep an eye on it. But, so far, just a stormy day for a lot of us, and that's okay. So again, stay weather aware, especially if you're in the severe thunderstorm watch. We'll keep you apprised across the network's Carolina Weather Group. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get back to normal coverage. Here, go ahead and zoom out, get you back to the Carolina Weather Net here on the Carolina Weather Group. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again, hopefully, real soon.